K-Pop Demon Hunters, the song-filled feature film on Netflix, has been, to say the least, an unexpected hit. You could even call it a phenomenon. It's currently 4th most watched feature film on the platform with over 158 million views. And my house has fully bought into the hype. My 10-year-old daughter found it first, and I think has maybe watched it maybe 20 times already, all the way through. She introduced my 5-year-old son, and now they both dance around the house, singing the songs even when they haven't been watching that day. I'd have included footage of them doing that, but when asked, this was my daughter's response.
No way, girl.
Fair enough. Then there is Doctor Who, which on the surface couldn't be more different. After all, one is a live-action sci-fi time-hopping classic, and the other is a vibrant K-pop powered, that's Korean pop for any of those who might not be in the know, demon-slaying animated musical. Although, honestly, if you told me the 15th Doctor spent some time as a BTS backup dancer, I'd probably believe you. But having now watched and very much enjoyed K-pop Demon Hunters myself, to the point that I have unashamedly added a few of the songs to my playlist, and even find myself humming them around the house, I think there are some lessons that Doctor Who could learn from it. And no, I don't mean become an animated musical. Though. Welcome to Culture Filter, I am Phil, and this is the channel where I talk about all the geeky pop culture that I like and consume. Things like Doctor Who, things like the MCU, but also things like random films I like K-pop Demon Hunters. So if any of that sounds good to you, please do subscribe down below. So, for the uninitiated, what is K-pop Demon Hunters? Well, it kind of does what it says on the tin. It follows Huntrix, a K-pop girl group who moonlight as demon hunters using music as magic to create a barrier stopping most of the demons of the world getting into our world and fighting those that do get through. It's a film that blends amazing visuals in the animation, Korean mythology, and catchy but pertinent and emotionally driven songs into a gripping story that juggles a well-paced plot, character development, and explorations of identity. It also taps into some cross-generational appeal. Doctor Who isn't a show for adults, it also isn't a kids show. What it is a family show, one that can appeal just as much to the 5-year-old as the 55-year-old. Sometimes it does that very well, a bit of something for everyone, and sometimes it veers too close to being aimed at one demographic or the other. Some have argued that in the age of streaming, shows that work for everyone don't work, because the demographics are fragmented and everyone's watching on their own devices by themselves and are served what seems like an unlimited amount of shows and content aimed directly at them. The YouTuber Stu Bagful has a great video which covers this. I recommend checking it out. And to a degree, this argument has merit. But I think the first thing that Doctor Who can learn from K-pop Demon Hunters is that a family audience still exists and can be hugely successful. You just have to get the blend right. You need something for everyone. You need rich, well-developed characters alongside exciting events happening at a pace that won't have the younger members of the audience reaching for their devices. How do you do that? Well, for one, don't talk down to your audience. Sure, this is absolutely important for attracting the adult audience, but actually it's important for kids too. Kids want their intelligence respected too. They want to be treated almost older than they are, but actually the kids that are 7, 8, 9, 10, they have the intelligence to work out stuff themselves, and we should not be talking down to them. That old adage is important here. Show, don't tell. You don't need to have someone declare what their feelings are, you show it in the acting. You don't need to over-explain every bit of plot and backstory and clunky exposition. You can leave the audience to infer stuff on their own. That's something some episodes, particularly the season finales of the current era, seems to have lost a little bit, and I wonder if that's because they felt the pressure to spell stuff out for the younger members of their audience. But K-pop Demon Hunters doesn't really do this. When there's exposition and flashbacks, it's weaved fairly naturally into the story, and more importantly, it feels natural for the characters and furthers their emotional arcs to be telling this information to who they are telling it to. When Rumi and Jinu reveal information about their past to each other, it's not just to get this information to the audience, but signals shifts in their development as characters, in their trust for each other, or demonstrates a key attribute of themselves, such as their different types of shame they both feel. Use characters' mythology as character development, but not as mystery box bait. Doctor Who's story arcs for the past 20 years have mostly been the mystery box type. You set up a mystery, either at the beginning of the season or kind of gradually as you go along, and you get the big reveal at the end of the season. And for the last few years, these have been focused around characters. The 13th Doctor and the Timeless Child arc, Ruby and the identity of her mother, who is the one who waits, why can't the Doctor take Belinda home? There's usually some big twist at the end of this arc. Hey, we'll get to songs later. My point is, it's kind of getting old. There are other types of season arcs. There are twists in K-pop Demon Hunters, sure, but the story doesn't hang on the twist leading up to it. We're not waiting for the big reveal, there's an engaging plot without it. But we're still learning more as we go. The bad guy's plot progresses without it being a secret mystery to us, the audience, from the start. The characters are still developing and changing as a reaction to what is happening to them. And I think Doctor Who needs to embrace more of that style of storytelling. I've kind of got a whole video on types of story arcs floating around in my head, so let me know in the comments below if you'd like to see that. Back to K-pop, Rumi's half-demon arc, for instance, is something we know about from the opening of the movie, but it's building interesting lore around the character that is used to push her development and the plot forward. It makes the stakes personal, it changes her as a person, and is key to the plot of the movie. Now, in fairness, Doctor Who and the 13th Doctor's Timeless Child arc did some of this. While it was primarily kind of hanging mystery fruit for the audience to speculate about, it also was used to explore the Doctor's character and develop it over her era. Where it falls down is Doctor Who's tendency to reset to the status quo at the end of every era. That character development didn't feel really carried over to this new era of the show, and the arcs since have been more hollow mystery types. That's primary purpose is to create speculative buzz, rather than being there first and foremost to serve the characters. So embrace lore about characters, but have it there for a reason, both plot and character, and make it matter long term. Okay, let's talk music. I'm not suggesting that Doctor Who becomes a full-on musical every episode. That's definitely not the lesson to learn from the success of this film. But I also don't think that Doctor Who should never include songs. I was all up for a Doctor Who musical in the vein of Buffy's Once More with Feeling or Star Trek Strange New Worlds' Subspace Rhapsody. But I gotta admit, I was left a little bit disappointed with The Devil's Chord, and there are multiple reasons for that. From the fact that there is only one full song in the thing, and that song is kind of tacked on to the end after the plot is finished, to the quality of the songs chosen, which, yes, I know is a factor of the plot, but still. The lesson that Doctor Who should learn from K-pop Demon Hunters here is that if they use songs again, much like character mythology and lore, those songs should serve the plot and characters. In K-pop, yes, they're catchy pop numbers that will get stuck in your head, and you'll be humming them for months, even when you don't want to. But more importantly, they are windows into the characters, into their motivations and emotions. And that's important. Audiences connect with shows more when they connect with the characters. The songs also move the plot forward. Characters make decisions or revelations within the songs, and events shift. They're not just breaks in the flow of the story for the sake of a song. Whereas with Doctor Who, sure, the Goblin song does move the plot on in the sense of it being a distraction to rescue baby Lulubelle, but there's no emotional truth to it for the characters. It doesn't reveal anything significant about where their headspace is, and it doesn't feel right, especially for Ruby, to break into this song. And there's always a twist at the end. Doesn't even move the plot forward, because the plot finished 5 minutes earlier. It's just there for the sake of having a song, catchy as it is. So Doctor Who can use songs, but it needs to use them more cleverly. Cultural influences. Finally, I do want to give recent Doctor Who some dues here, because they have done some stuff right, but also say that they should do this one more. K-pop Demon Hunters unashamedly embraces Korean culture, both modern and ancient. It influences the mythology of the film, the look of it, and the sound of it. Doctor Who also sometimes does this. Not Korean culture specifically, but episodes very much influenced by a particular culture. Most recently, We got the excellent, the story and the engine, which took elements of Nigerian culture and crafted them into a unique and compelling story. The whole feel of that episode was inherently influenced by that culture, not just the location. The key to that is that it was written by a writer with Nigerian heritage, drawing on his own lived experience as well as the mythology of his ancestors and his parents and all that stuff. This, of course, requires a diverse writing pool from a variety of cultures that can draw on their own experiences in a realistic way. But it's a rich world of stories that we're only really getting a tiny sample of currently, and we should be getting more of it. But I mean, who should write Doctor Who is a topic of a whole other video I'm kind of planning, so I'll save more thoughts on that one until then. So, would Doctor Who taking these influences from the current hit family film of the moment help revitalise it, if that's the right word? And to be clear, I think there are some fantastic individual episodes in the current era, but for the overall season plot lines, I think there might be something they can learn from it. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed this video and want to help me make more, I would casually and nonchalantly mention here that I do have a Patreon where you can support the channel. There are rewards for different tiers and all that jazz. So link in the description below if you fancy it, but more than anything, I just appreciate you watching the video to the end, and if you would be so kind, a like down below. See you next time.